Good morning. Are you a toxic ass? Yes. The answer is yes. Now, we all have a toxic side, or at least toxic traits. These toxic traits will impact your life in negative ways. So here is a real tarot reading for the kind of toxic that you keep and just how bad it is. Hello, I'm the Real Aquarian, and this is a pick a card. This pick a card is going to answer a very specific question. What the fuck is wrong with you? As always, my readings are timeless, so when you see this, you were meant to. I'd love to hear from you in the comment section, so if it resonates, please, by all means, let me know. If not, let that shit go. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and just jump right in. You can choose between lipstick, feather, key. This is for Scorpio. And we're going to get started with lipstick. Okay, Scorpio, your first card is the Three of Swords, which means your toxic trait is drama. You bring conflict to situations. Next card we have is the Five of Wands. So this is directly impacting your relationships as they stand. There's an element of competition here when you have the Five of Wands. So there's definitely the toxicity element that you carry is the drama. You are creating conflicts in the relationships around you. Whether or not you are aware of this is where tension is coming from in your relationships. And with the Five of Wands, that competition, you could be in direct competition with somebody, but this feels more because of the Three of Swords reverse, the drama element. This is more perceived. You are creating conflicts in your mind, and that's actually sort of pouring out into reality and causing strain and, aggression where there doesn't need to be any. So just, bear this in mind. Next card we have is the World reversed. So at your core, the reason the drama toxic characteristic, toxic trait is with you that you carry, the reason is because we have here the World reversed. You don't think you deserve the success that either has come to you, is coming to you. It's a self-worth issue at your core. If I had to say this was a character flaw, if I had to say, this is the pick a card question, what is wrong with you? You don't think you deserve the success that you have coming. And that is unfortunate, Scorpio. So the next card is the Knight of Swords. So you are facing this self-worth issue, right? With the World reversed. This not feeling like you deserve success when it comes to you. And that really does come to a self-worth issue, this deserving sort of feeling, especially for things that you've worked for. Of course you deserve them. But with the Knight of Swords, what this tells me is because this is sort of like an emotional sort of issue for you, how you're going to be able to fix this maybe a little bit for yourself, how to maybe tamper down that sort of toxic behavior, the drama, the conflict you cause, is to sort of set yourself up for success, regardless of how you're sort of feeling about it in the moment. And by that I mean, if you're still feeling undeserving of it, even if you set yourself up, even if you plan, prepare, get all your ducks in a row, do everything you need to get the most success possible, you still find yourself in a situation where you don't feel deserving. That's okay, because this is still going to be a confidence booster for you. This is still going to help you on the road to feeling more self-worth. because you put in that effort for yourself. You are telling yourself you are valuable through your own actions. That's how you fix this. You got to know your worth. That's where you start. So next card we have is the King of Pentacles. So this just further validates what I'm seeing here with the Knight of Swords. This is just yet another reiteration of the need that you have, and this is very loud now with the King of Pentacles, the need for you to accept and really embrace the success that comes, really embrace the efforts that you put in, and value that. That's important and that matters. And even if the success that comes is, by happenstance, even if it's just accidental, what this is saying is that you were deserving of it and you shouldn't second guess that, but to your core, you always will. So just something to bear in mind, Scorpio. Okay, let's move on to the final card. We have the Six of Swords reversed. The situation that I see here, you have the toxic trait of the drama. You have this impacting your relationships. You have definitely a self-worth issue at the very core of why you create these sorts of barriers and why you create these sorts of conflicts and perceived competitions. And what it really comes down to, what I'm getting for you, Scorpio, is your toxicity level really sort of is not the worst sort of toxicity level, but it's not the best. But at the same time, it really stems from your own inner issues. At your core, you really just need to be able to value yourself more and not compare yourself to others. And when you're doing that, and that's what I'm seeing, when you're comparing yourself to others, one, you should never do that. And two, you should avoid doing that when you catch yourself. Pay attention to your thoughts, Scorpio, because it's toxic and it will impact your relationships, which is very clear here, but it'll also impact your self-worth and how you view yourself and just daily basis, your perspective. You need to rein in that sort of comparison that you're doing. That's what I'm getting for you. But as far as the outcome, what's going to happen is if you actually do proceed with trying to maybe curb this toxic behavior and fix it a little bit, what's going to happen is you're going to end up having to leave a situation. And in this case, because it's directly impacting relationships, I'm going to venture to guess and say that this is directly talking about a relationship. There's some relationship, and again, could be friendship all the way up to familial. There's some relationship that you're probably going to have to walk away from in order for these fixes and changes to go away. There's going to be a need. I'm also seeing that the King of Pentacles is also I see here with the Six of Swords reversed. You have this need to squash the conflicts. Now, some conflicts are bigger than others, so you might find that some you'll be able to resolve. You'll be able to come to terms, get your emotions in check. Acknowledge when you're causing conflict sort of in the back of your mind and stop that. But then there's also relationships where perhaps we're beyond mending. We're at a point where it's non-fixable, or maybe just non-fixable right now. So you just sort of have to back burner. You just have to sort of, take a break. So that's what I'm seeing for you if you chose lipstick. That is your toxicity. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, if you chose feather, your first card is death reversed. So your toxic trait is denial. I think most of us have an air of denial, but that is your toxic trait. That's what comes out, Scorpio. If you chose feather, you have denial, the demon of denial. You're definitely not facing something or a number of things. You have a level of not coming to terms and not letting go of things. Change is not necessarily easy to you, even if it is perceived to be on the outside. You're definitely screaming in the back of your head on the inside. So you lie to yourself. It's a coping mechanism, so it's understandable, but it's also toxic. It's not good for you to not face things that, at the end of the day, you will inevitably have to face anyway. So, you know, denial will only carry you so far. And it doesn't really work, because in your heart of hearts, you know the truth. Or you have at least a feeling. Okay, next card is Judgment. This is directly impacting your ability to connect to your higher self. And that is quite a problem, because you don't want that to block. You don't want there to be any sort of disconnection between you and your inner voice, your inner intuition, your gut, as it were. You should be able to trust your gut. You should be able to listen to your gut. You should be able to tune in and tap into your intuition when you need to. You should be able to trust yourself. So this denial, that really is this toxic factor. So again, we go to relationships that this is impacting, because it's not only just a relationship with your higher self, but this also impacts relationships with others. Because if you're not connected to yourself, then you're just sort of, you know, in a different kind of headspace. And that is what is presented to those around you. You may not think so, but they're definitely getting an air of it. Let's move on. We have the Seven of Swords reversed. So at your core, Scorpio, you have well, I hate to sound that harsh, but when the going gets tough, you give up. That's what I'm seeing here. No judgment, but at your core, when there really is struggle, strain, strife, high stress, you're not great. That's at your core, and this is more than likely another reason why this denial is making more sense now. This is more than likely because you have an aversion to drama. So if you see drama, if you perceive drama, if you sense drama, you will definitely throw yourself into a place of denial, repress, suppress, act like you don't see it, act like you don't hear it, act like you don't sense it, to sort of make yourself feel better, which is why it's a coping mechanism. But it's really just a Band-Aid. You're not fixing the situations, and that's what it's all about, is having to face it. And with judgment, all the more. The judgment is all about assessment. Okay, next card we have is the Two of Wands. If you are trying to fix this just even a little bit, what I would say is go outside. If only to just, you know, stare at the sky. Let the sky see you for just a second. Okay, that's what I'm getting from the Two of Wands. One of the ways you're going to be able to fix this a little bit, this denial, something that you're not facing. I know it will sound odd, but go outside and just get some fresh air, get a little bit of sun, just a little bit. Go for a walk. Just stand outside your door for a hot second. Open your door, you know, just get some of that fresh air. You need to consider what is working and what is not working in your life right now. If you're wanting to fully address and fix this denial issue, because the denial issue as a coping mechanism, you're sitting in it because it is literally comfortable and you know, what are you going to do? It's a comfortable spot, right? It's a happening place, but it's a problem. Again, this is toxic. This is no good for you in the relationships that either you hold now or that you hope to have in the future. Remember, this denial is not good for foundations when it comes to relationships either. So just bear that in mind. And let's see, we have the Hierophant reversed. You're gonna have to embrace the part of you that's the hardest to let out. And that's the free spirit. And you might say, well, you know, I know how to party. No. The free spirit, the actual essence of you, not the person that can like unclench and, you know, fucking chill. We're talking about you at your most you. That is how you get over this toxic trait. This is how you move beyond denial. Really need to get in tune with that. Okay, and last card here, we have the Seven of Cups reversed. So what's going to happen is if you actually start embracing yourself, whatever that means, however that means. Once you start doing that, and once you start understanding and figuring out and experiencing your values and how you perceive how you want to live, what I'm seeing here is you're going to alleviate and get rid of a lot of drama in your life. There's going to be this sort of lifting of, proverbial bullshit, as it were, Scorpio, that you're just not going to have as many problems as you had before. But it literally comes down to you pushing past the denial and owning up. This is with judgment as well. Owning up to aspects of yourself, having a truthful conversation with yourself about who you are. This is not necessarily an identity issue, but there's definitely some element or aspects of yourself that you deny, that you are not admitting. This could be in relation to other relationships. It could be a own personal issue, what have you. But there's definitely something that you are not facing. And that is, again, toxic. So we have to be real careful with denial. It's a real easy thing to slip into and a real hard thing to sort of escape, because it's such a cozy place to be, especially if you're good at it. And Scorpio, you look really fucking good at it. So whatever aspect of you just sort of embracing you, taking mental assessment, making decisions based on you being honest with yourself, you're going to be facing more than likely some emotional sort of waves. And so the warning here for you, as far as if you do want to sort of fix these toxic traits, if you want to get at the core of your issue, you're going to have to really, once you get a real level of honest with yourself, once you start embracing and have that real keen intuition, as it were, this will be a good thing if you are single and approaching relationships. And this is just a good thing in general, because this could be any relationship. Basically what I'm saying is your bullshit detector is going to get better, because you're going to stop idealizing situations. Now, again, this is only if you choose to own this toxic trait, acknowledge it for what it is, and actually try to fix it a little bit, at the very least a little bit. So yeah, that's where we are. If you're single, the bullshit detector is definitely going to get better with the 7 of Cups reversed. And yeah, denial in terms of relationship, you shouldn't approach relationships with denial. There should never be an element of that. Do not lie to yourself. Okay? This is why all the more important you need to have a good, strong connection to your intuition, Scorpio. What are you doing? Okay, if you chose the key, your first card is the 9 of Cups reversed. So your toxic trait, Scorpio, is ego and narcissism. They run high with you. Again, even if you don't perceive that, even if you're yelling at the screen right now saying, no, that's not, no, I don't. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You picked this card, didn't you? No judgment for any of this. This is just a read. But what I would say to this is, with ego and narcissism, this is like the poison dart when approaching relationships. So if you are single, if you're in a new relationship, even if you're in a long-term relationship, ego left unchecked is a dangerous thing. Narcissism left unchecked is a dangerous thing. That's you or the other person. But in this case, that's what this reading is about. This reading is about you. So, that being said, just heed those words. That's all I'm going to say. You don't even have to heed them if you don't think this pertains to you. But again, you picked the card. I just want you to have good emotional connections, and you can't if you're being a dick. Just saying. Okay. Next card we have is the 4 of Swords. So in terms of what aspect of life your ego is sort of messing with the most, points to your peace. Your ego and narcissism is directly disturbing your own peace. And that's why I say relationships, because if you are not at peace, if you're not in a state of harmony or balance, this is going to get conveyed to others. And so that's going to impact those relationships also. You see how that works? Like everything sort of, all relationships get impacted if you are not sort of on an even keel. It's how it works. It's how relationships work. So with the Four of Swords, yeah, you're disturbing your peace. Your calm, your peace of mind. How's your sleep? You been sleeping well? Are you not a good sleeper? Do you toss a lot, Scorpio? Is that what's going on? I don't know. There's definitely, you are messing with your own state of well-being, which again, ego, narcissism, it makes sense, but you are messing with your own well-being. That's what I'm telling you. That's not a good thing. That is toxic as. So you just have to bear in mind that this can, and often does, start showing itself in physical form. And this is why you should never mess with your well-being. This is why you should take your well-being, everyone should take their well-being very seriously. You need to take way better care of yourself, but it seems like you can't, because your toxic trait sort of doesn't allow for it. You sort of think you're invincible, or just don't see it, don't notice it. Yeah, that's okay. Next card is going to be the Ace of Wands. So at your core, the issue comes down to indecision, which is interesting. Dealing with ego and narcissism. It's a mask, is what I'm seeing. You don't know what the you're doing. Winging it, are we? And again, no judgment. Does anybody know what the fuck they're doing? I doubt it. Nobody. We're all floating around on a rock, okay? Don't feel bad. But that's what this is telling me. You don't know what's going on. You don't actually have a plan, but you wear this mask, this ego. I would venture to guess faux confidence, to sort of get by, get through, sort of fake it before you make it, as it were. But yeah, no, it is definitely a mask. You have no clue. You're like the rest of us, but feel better, because you're like the rest of us. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. And the thing is, you're not ever willing to pull the trigger. And that's why at your core, that's why it's a character flaw. That's why indecision is your character flaw. That's why it's a real problem. That's why the ego and narcissism comes out in you, is you got to wear that mask, because yeah, you're just as confused as the rest of us, and that's okay. Okay, moving on. The next card, we have the Queen of Wands reversed. So how to fix this, maybe a little bit. You're gonna need to put an end to the indecision, and in order to do that, you're gonna have to get your shit together. And again, no judgment, but you are gonna have to get organized. That's the deal, Scorpio. That indecision, that faux confidence can only be lifted, and I'm sure that is exhausting to have to carry that facade around all the time. But the only way to be able to put that down and have real confidence in what you're doing and kind of know what you're doing is to be able to see a clear path forward. You're not going to be able to do that until you actually remove any of the obstacles in your life that are within your control to remove. Anything you can fix, you should be able to fix, and you should. And that's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands reversed, is you need to get organized. So just something to bear in mind if you wanted to fix it a little bit. Okay, so the next card is the Star. So in terms of how we're going to sort of push through and really sort of get at the core issue of indecision, the way we fix this is you need more love in your life. Okay, more love. Bring more love, whatever that is. More love. You need more. You need to share more love. It needs to be a mutual event. That one-way track, that mask that you put on, is creating a barrier. And that barrier does you no good. All right, moving on. The next card is the Tower. Yes, the sudden and sporadic change that'll totally occur once you get all of your shit together and drop a narcissistic ego facade. Wouldn't that be them breaks? Yeah. So here's the thing. A lot of people will say that the Tower is, oh God, it's all terrible. It don't work like that for me. The Tower for me, when it comes to actual interpretation, really comes down to just anything that you would consider to be foundational change or shifting. Okay? And, define that. I feel like everybody has their own definition of that. To me, it's an actual change. That is what this means. If you decide to really work towards getting to drop that ego-driven sort of mask, that sort of false confidence, and actually work on the indecision that you have looming, the great news with the Tower really comes down to the fact that you always inevitably end up seeing a clearer path forward once the dust settles. So with that change, you're going to be uplifting a lot of that indecision that at your core really is the reason why you carry around the ego the way you do. And again, you may not know it, you may not perceive it, but you did pick this pile, didn't you? Just saying. I hope you enjoyed my reading. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.